Well, we know that Rishi Sunak is keen, very keen to debate the Labour leader, Keir Starmer. Talk of up to perhaps 6 TV debates. But Rishi Sunak himself being challenged by Nigel Farage. And it's interesting, I think, at the start of this campaign, you know, you see the usual arguments from the Conservatives of we may be bad, but Labour will be even worse. It's not exactly inspiring, but they're not actually attacking reform policies, are they? And that's because the Conservatives, of course, are defending a record of high immigration, record high immigration, weak borders and high taxes. And so you've seen at the forefront of the reform campaign already, Nigel Farage there challenging Rishi Sunak to a live TV debate on immigration, saying if he refuses, that will confirm the fact that he can't stop the boats. It seems the Prime Minister bottling that, up for debating with Starmer, but not with Farage. And you see the quote there from a spokesman on behalf of Rishi Sunak saying, we respect Nigel, but there's only 2 people who can be PM at the end of the campaign, Rishi or Starmer, and that's who should be up on stage debating each other. So responding to that, Nigel had this to say. He said, Rishi knows his Rwanda plan can't work, and that's why he's running scared of me, saying, I thank him for the compliment, but is there really going to be only one debate with the PM in this election campaign? Now, unfortunately for the Conservatives and Rishi Sunak, Nigel Farage, despite not standing as a candidate, very much, as I said, at the forefront of the reform campaign, and indeed held a press conference and gave a speech today in Dover. And if you didn't catch it, here is some of what Nigel had to say today. Watch this and let me know what you make of the fact that Rishi Sunak will debate Keir Starmer, but seemingly running scared from Nigel Farage.
But what I can talk about with some authority is this subject that has affected this harbour at Dover and indeed most of our country over the last few years. It was pretty obvious to me early in 2020 that the trickle of small inflatable rib dinghies that were coming across the English Channel was something that would turn into a flood. But nobody was interested. Nobody was talking about it. And so I came down to Dover. I went out to sea repeatedly. I filmed the dinghies coming over. I filmed the processing centre here in Dover Docks. I went up to the Midlands and elsewhere to film the hotels that these people were being put into. And I said at the time that you might as well put a big sign on the White Cliffs of Dover saying everyone welcome, because we'd stopped deporting people who'd arrived in our country illegally. And it's quite a thought that in the last year of the Labour government, leading up to 2010, 45,000 people who came to Britain illegally had been deported. But we'd given up on that. So I said that I thought, unless something dramatic was done, that there would be an invasion. Now, of course, for using that word, I was called all the names under the sun. But 3,800 boats later, 125,000 people later, you can use whatever word you want. I happen to think that invasion, frankly, was pretty appropriate.